Hello, this is Ralph, and this is my little boat garden so far. And what I did today, we've had tremendous rains, so I haven't really been able to get out the last week and a half to 2 weeks actually to do much work out here. So today I came out and checked it out, saw that the potatoes up in the front of the boat, they are growing like wild. And I was going to mound half of them up with dirt and the other half up with wood chips, but God, the dirt here that I was going to use is just drenched, it's soaked, so I just went ahead and used wood chips on the whole thing, and we'll see how it goes. And now in this middle section, you can see that's an onion patch, and that is growing very nicely. And over here, in with the potatoes, that little guy in there, that is a red cabbage that we had forgotten about in the crisper of the refrigerator. And I found it, and it was already growing inside the refrigerator down in the crisper section. So my wife said, well, why don't you just plant it out in the garden and see what happens? So I planted it, and you can see how that little devil is really taken off. And yeah, so it looks like we're going to have a volunteer red cabbage that is growing just from, what would have been compost, but just, yeah, a regular head of cabbage that we got at the grocery store and set aside and forgot all about. It's now growing into a brand new plant. So that is pretty neat. And let's get up here. We've got our sweet potatoes. They are still looking a little peaked, but it looks like they are doing fairly well, and we'll just let them go and see what happens. So yeah, the boat garden is doing very nicely, and yeah, we'll see what happens within the next week. But now I'm taking the next step today. Let's take a look over here. So yeah, I've got my little workstation there that I had set up. Ran a power line to it, and I was drilling holes in the bottom of baskets for my next job, and that is setting right here. I've got about eight of these miniature laundry baskets, and I drilled holes in the bottom. And what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and put newspaper, line these with newspaper, and then fill them with a potting mix. I'm making that myself. I've got some generic potting soil that I bought from the lumber yard, and I got that last year, and it's nothing fancy. It's just crushed dirt with a little bit of rock in it. They sell it as potting soil. But what I plan to do is mix it, 50-50, half potting soil and half peat moss, and then put them, fill it about 3/4 of the way up, right about there. And then what I'll do is I'm going to be putting these, you see where the seat of the boat is, we'll be putting those baskets right where the seat is, and I can fit 3 in the back seat of the boat, 3 in the middle seat of the boat, and then 2 right up at the front of the boat. And we'll go ahead and plant a few other things in there. I'm thinking right now carrots would go nicely in those baskets. What else? Carrots, radishes. We've got some not potatoes. We got enough potatoes. Tomatoes, some bush tomatoes, some black cherry tomatoes, and red cherry tomatoes. And we'll just go ahead and plant those in the baskets. And I got some English lavender that I want to plant this season. They say that's really good for fighting fleas. And every year, our dogs come down with a pretty bad, flea outbreak. So this year I want to try to treat it naturally if we can, and avoid the toxic stuff that we get from the vet. But if they say English lavender is pretty good, and rosemary is another good one, so we're going to grow that. And then I also read where marigold is good, so I've got some marigold growing around in here, along with the kale and the broccoli, and we'll get some more going and just line the entire yard, the entire house, really, with marigolds as well as our other, edible plants here. The kale right there, going very nicely, and our regular cabbages that I planted a few weeks ago. They are taking off like wildfire. And the strawberries. We're getting some strawberries. Let's take a look there. Got some flowers right there. So yeah, we're going to have strawberries this season. And these little guys, they are sending off runners. And they are just really taking off. So that's it. And of course, we're going to have cucumbers coming out of our ears. I haven't counted the cucumber plants that have come up yet, but I mean, recently, last time I counted, it was 34 plants. I don't think we lost any, so yeah. So, as you can see here, I need to get out here and weed. But, yeah, everything is going great. We've had torrential rain the past couple of weeks. But, I mean, it has really facilitated the growth of this garden tremendously. And, yeah, we'll see by next week what all we have to report. So until later, this is Ralph from Wheatland, Missouri, signing off, wishing you great gardening pleasure wherever you may be. And we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.